Hi, Madhuri. I'm Srishti Prabha from India Currents. I
Hi.
did a little research. Hey. And you were born in California. I don't know how long you were here for, but were you here for a little bit?
Yeah, I was born in San Jose and only for a little bit. We moved when I was 6 years old to Singapore and then to India, where I grew up primarily.
No way. Yeah, I'm actually in San Jose. I'm
Oh,
from San Jose. Yeah. So,
nice.
just a little bit about India Currents, so you have a little bit of information. Your parents probably know about India Currents because it was a magazine that was started like 30 years ago, around the time when a lot of Indian immigrants started coming to California specifically. So we were Bay Area based, but we're kind of global. Um, and I'm actually the managing editor currently. Um, so I guess I'll start asking you a few questions. It's cool to know you're from where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
um, so what was your intended message for a general audience, and did you have a different intended message for the Indian American audience? Having watched the film, I just wanted to kind of get a sense of where you were coming from.
Yeah. I think I wrote it to be an entertaining ride, first and foremost. But um, I had a few strong feelings that I knew that the story had to take a certain course. I knew that mom was going to be right, because I wanted to write something that would validate kind of the older woman character in the story, because I hadn't really seen a lot of that in our storytelling, and that was something I was excited to do. And I kind of wanted to show how women kind of live through and survive and thrive in the face of people who try to do them harm, and to show what can be possible. Really just to show like the power of of a mother's love for her child, you know. It's kind of what I had in my heart as I was writing this.
Interesting. What was your so I hear you with, women, older women not being validated in cinema. So what was your character, the younger one, Pallavi, like what was her message supposed to be? What was her character trait? Like what was she supposed to represent for young Indian Americans watching the film?
I don't know. I guess I identify with her a lot. Um, my mom did try to set me up many times when I was in my 20s. Um, and part of Pallavi's story is part of what I experienced as I grew older, of like getting to know my mother as her own person, her own histories, her own life experiences, her own way of seeing the world, which is oftentimes very different from how I see the world. Um, I think for a long time we see our parents as just our parents and they're only people in relation to us. But I think as we grow older, one of the opportunities we have is to see them as people in relation to themselves. Um, and so Pallavi discovering this whole other side of her mother that has nothing to do with her, um, I think was an interesting journey. I think was something that I was excited to play with. Um, yeah, and I think it was kind of like Usha says it at the end, at the very end. No matter what happens, you've defeated him once before. You can defeat him again. Anyone who tries to harm you, like there's no denying that there's evil in the world, you know. But
Yeah, that
also
was
there's
interesting.
like but there's also no denying that we always have the strength to do something about it. Yeah.
Mhm. I was gonna ask you about the last message because it was quite interesting for me as a young Indian American to hear it. One, I'm actually like the exact same age as Pallavi in this movie, so it's feels very relatable in that way for me, where it's like, why aren't you getting married? Why aren't, all those questions. There's something wrong with you if you're not like thinking about that at this point in your life. But I find that I was struggling to resonate with the message because I don't think my mom is always right. So I wonder if that was purposeful. Like maybe I don't see it right now, maybe I'll see it later. But yeah, that message to me, like like you said, our parents have had very different experiences, especially as immigrants. Like what our parents learned. My parents had arranged marriages. Um, and it's a very different experience, right? Dating and like getting to know people. And so to me, it was interesting that you took that route of like validating that mothers are always right when I think sometimes I find my mother might not be as forward thinking as I am. So can you bridge that gap for me a little bit?
Well, I don't think mothers are always right. I don't think all mothers are always right. I think a lot of people don't have very different relationships with their parents.
Mhm.
Um, I knew that when I started writing this play, this was deeply inspired by my mom and my relationship with my mom. And I wanted to give her a win. So that's kind of how it is. And I think more than moms being right, I think it's about the fact that throughout the movie, Usha is trying to articulate something about her trauma, something that she feels deep inside her gut. She's trying to talk about it, and people don't believe her. So I think it's more than like listen to your mother because she knows what's best for you. It's kind of like, how about we listen to women when they try to articulate what they're experiencing? You know,
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that's what's interesting for me.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think it's so nuanced, right? Because you brought in this very cultural aspect to it, which people believing in superstitious things or people believing in reincarnation or just, a way of thinking. So like when should women get married and things like that. And I think it was really cool that I got to see, a lot of my Indian like culture represented. And I'm assuming that came from your background of living here and like, being in this environment as well. So I appreciated that. But yeah, I did yeah, it's interesting because I guess it's your message, so it's very different than maybe mine, but I'm not sure my mom is always right still.
No, they're
And
not. They're really
yeah,
not. And like
and
the fact of the matter is that in this movie, she was right about a thing that is literally impossible.
yeah, yeah,
She's right about a thing that is literally impossible.
impossible,
I
exactly.
think that's part of the fun of it, is
Mhm,
that in the real world, this never would happen, right?
mhm,
But I think also in the real world, women are so often dismissed for feelings, for instincts, for experiences born of trauma.
mhm,
Um, they are dismissed over and over again. They're dismissed when they try and talk about bad relationships that they are in or have been in.
mhm,
Um, there's a line in the movie where Krishnan says something like, Pallavi's not like you. She won't let anyone take advantage of her. And he means so well, right? He means so well. But what a dismissive thing to say.
mhm, mhm,
So it's kind of, I don't know, I'm just really interested in taking Usha as her own person,
mhm.
and talking about that. And of course, it's a genre film, so the twist is a literal monster reincarnated, which does not happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But
But the
but
thing is, that is something that in Indian culture is really something people believe, right? So while you're saying it is impossible, it's a message that like will resonate with some people in a way that they will truly believe that this is a real thing that can happen. So I just wonder, like for you, like did you thinking about writing this film, like you're saying it's so impossible, but what impact do you think it will have on the people that believe in these things? And it's a huge part of our culture, right? We can kind of agree on that. So
how do you see reincarnation in your own family? How's it articulated for you?
I mean, my parents, the evil eye thing, that's pretty common. You put the kajal under your eye and things like that. But my parents aren't they never enforced religion on me, and so I can kind of believe what I want. But I've seen with my other friends and families where reincarnation really plays a huge role. Like you can't, even just like star charts and things like that, like you can't marry this person because it doesn't align in this certain way. And like there's so many mythical things that kind of take place in Hinduism, so it's hard to kind of sever that. And so you brought in that cultural link but didn't explore it too far. So I that was more why I was like, okay, what is the exact message of this? But I think hearing your perspective has been really eye opening, and thank you so much. I know I have to wrap up,
Oh,
so
oh gosh, this
yeah,
is
it was really
I
fast.
I don't know, I was having fun talking to you. Okay.
Me too. Well, you can hit me up, anytime you want. You can find me, I'm pretty easy to find. Srishti at indiacurrents.com will be the easiest way, but definitely email me. I would love to talk to you more about your film. So,
Okay, cool. Thank
yeah,
you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.